I feel like I have to talk about this or I am never going to end up talking about this. How I ended up on the other side of the world in Juárez, Mexico. Is it really the other side of the world? I don't know. Some things you just can't explain, but some things are worth trying to explain. 2 years ago, I took off with my church to go to Ciudad Juárez, which is just over the American-Mexican border, which is known to be a very dangerous city, at least by Americans. So in May of 2024, plan was to fly from Buffalo to New York, land in El Paso, Texas. And when we first landed in El Paso, Texas, we were like, wow, everything is so different. Everything is dry. Everything is a desert. We're going from the lush Great Lakes to the desert. And that was something that, though it wasn't the purpose of going on the mission trip, was something that I really could appreciate when I came back home. How drastically vast the United States is, right? Like, we're up in the Northeast, coming home after a week, and the flight from Mexico to New York was, we're in the desert, then we were in snow-capped mountaintops, the Great Plains, and when we are 15 minutes from landing in New York, well, actually sooner than that, right? But it felt like the last final part of our travel, you just come across these Great Lakes and you realize why they're so great. When you grow up in Buffalo, they're just like normal, right? Like, I'm actually literally staring at the frozen Great Lake Erie right now. But how impactful and important it is, like, to have fresh water, right? Okay. Well, yeah, no, literally how important it is fresh water, right? Like, I woke up this morning, take a shower, let the shower run till it's hot. That's just like normal, and you can do that. And landing in Mexico, they have completely different infrastructure, right? And so the part of like Juárez that we were in was definitely like the outskirts. So think of like the Batavia of Buffalo if you're from my area, but you're in the outskirts. We're in the, less fortunate areas. We're just like in the country, honestly. We are in the country. So we landed in Texaco. That's what it felt like, Texaco. We landed in Texas. We were so jawed by how different just Texas felt, which is funny because a week later, when we landed back in Texas, once we drove back into Texas, it felt like we were home, right? It felt like we were back in America. There was a McDonald's on the corner and, whatever, not literally, but like there was grass and sprinklers. And it's just so crazy how different Mexico and the United States are being that close together. Juárez in Mexico in general, Chihuahua, that's like the state, is literally just separated by the Rio Grande. Like, you can see how close yet so far the countries feel. We took like a 45-minute trek from the border crossing to where we were staying. The school that we were going to help is essentially like a boarding school. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a boarding school, but it's a private Christian school where if you're having like a struggle feeding your family, or like you need someone to take care of your kids where maybe you have to go work, or whatever the circumstances is, there's kids that stay there all through the week. So like, just say Monday through Friday, they're going to school and then they're eating all of their meals there. They have after school programs like music and dance and gym and all different things, right? Like, whatever the kid enjoys, they have all these programs for them. So they have those kids, and then they also have kids that once the school day is done, then they have a bus that buses them out to the colonia, which is basically like the neighborhood. But when we had first landed there, I think it's like a Saturday or Sunday night, right? It's been almost 2 years since my first trip to Mexico. So I went to Mexico the first year, and then I felt called to go back, and I will not be going back this year, unfortunately or fortunately, right? Like, I think sometimes, I never in my life thought I would go on a mission trip, and I think that when you're called, you're called. And if you're not, like, I think you have to be obedient to the plan that the Lord has for your life. And I think your intuition and your gut feeling is something that you should follow. So my gut was telling me to go to Mexico, even though that was not really my plan, right? It really wasn't. And then I just ended up in Mexico 2 times in a row. So we land in the school. We're out in the area of the school. Completely, there's tires everywhere, there's rubble, there's pallet homes. These people are really resourceful. That was one thing that I found going to Mexico. The first time was really first time was really profound for me and really eye-opening. And then I think the second time I went back, I almost wasn't as jarred. And I almost say that in a bad way. It almost felt like home. Like it felt like I was going back to like summer camp, because it is kind of, it feels like a camp, right? Like there's the kids dorm and then like a short walk, maybe like, I don't know, 0.25 miles. There's like the American dorm. So there is constantly missions teams going out to this school in Mexico. The ministry that was actually started from a man in Buffalo. But there's teams from all over the country that go down there and they help. And it's just like a revolving door, right? Like the traditional, I feel like mission trip length is like a week or 2 weeks, but some people stay for longer, some people stay for shorter. And they're just like accommodations that people can go on. It feels like a motel, right? Like there's like a common area and then there's just say like 8 dorms with bunk beds and whatever. The second time felt less jarring, more like home and like summer camp, but more like inside reflection. And not that that didn't happen in the first one, but more the second one. In the second trip, I was actually crazy sick, right? Like, I think the second time I was more comfortable. I was showering more, and I don't know if I got water in me, because all the water that you drink is filtered, but not like the shower water. Like, so the infrastructure is completely different. They have like, and this is why I need to film this so long later, and I keep pushing this video off, but it needs to be documented because your memory fades. It fades, unfortunately. But what happened in Juarez is just so, you know, whatever. Okay, so they have big, like however many gallon jugs underneath the ground that gets pumped into your home. So it's not like in America where like there's sewer system and plumbing all throughout. Like it's very, think like well, but like it's not a well. It's, you know, they have a water truck that comes and delivers water, and you have to be very conservative. So like I'm waking up this morning today in New York running the water. What a privilege it is that we almost aren't even in tune to, where in Mexico it's like, all right, turn a little bit of water, like you're doing a dish, you little water, scrub, get the water's off, come back on. The first time that we were down there, they actually were implementing a filtered water station in the kids' dorm, which I'm probably not saying it right, but like basically, so they had unlimited clean water, which is such a blessing. Obviously anywhere, but especially in the desert. Honestly, when I first arrived to Mexico, I was like, how am I going to survive a week here? You're so removed from home. You're so removed from any comfortability, any sense of normalcy, and people don't speak the language, right? Like all the people that we were around, well, actually not really at all. It feels like that though. Like, so it's like, okay, nobody speaks your language, but one of the best things of the missions trip was just learning how like love and just people and being a human being transcends the language. Like you're playing with these kids and it's just like playing with your niece or nephew, right? They just can't like speak your language, but like maybe you went to school. I could speak a tiny bit of Spanish. I feel like my Spanish the first trip was good. The second trip, I just feel like I lost my Spanish. But you know, we're playing Uno, we're making bead bracelets with the girls, and it's crazy how humans are so adaptive, but just blend together. And it makes me just honestly, right? Like everybody hold their horses, not getting political or whatever, right? Because I don't know what the answer is. But seeing how close Texas is to Mexico, like seeing the other countries and how drastically different they are, right? Like, did you win the geographical lottery, right? Like, how blessed am I just from the fact that I was born in Buffalo, New York, right? And then I compare myself to like, oh, what about the people that were born in New York City or Miami or whatever? But like, what a blessing that is, that I can be a business owner, that I can, it's just frustrating. Like I can understand the families that want to cross the border, right? Like I can understand the desire, like how, like so going back to how resourceful they are, like these people are building homes out of stones, wood, all different types of things. There's dogs running around everywhere in Mexico, which was maybe one of our favorite parts, but it's like they're really malnutrition. malnutrition. They're just scavenging the streets for any food that we could give. But that was like one of my favorite parts in Mexico, like where we were. So the American dorms are watched over by a Mexican family that lives inside the compound. They have a few dogs. And then the first trip, there was a dog that was outside of the gates. And must have just found her way and realized that, there's a bunch of kids, there's some scraps that get left around, but nothing goes to waste in the desert, right? Like you have a little, like look at that. Like this is just some random water bottle, right? Okay, like this, if it's sit here for 2 weeks, like you might just throw it out or dump it down the drain, whatever. In Mexico, like you're feeding the plants or you're giving to the dogs, any scraps. We went out to like the first nights that we get there, we went out to this like very traditional like Mexican food restaurant. We had like a mariachi band playing and all of that. Okay, is there leftover tortilla shells? Is there leftover meat? That's going home with us to the dogs. It's just, I think in America, in the United States, we have so much access and excess, right? I don't know how you say the difference. My Buffalo accent, maybe. We have so much stuff that I think we're almost overwhelmed by the amount of stuff. I mean, obviously, right? Like, but I think it's so easy to get caught up in comparing your life. And we know, like, social media has wreaked havoc on our generation, I guess. Like, we see what the Kardashians have or what the Prince of England has or whoever on whatever private island yacht, but like we take the simplest things for granted. Like one of the like best things when I came home from New York was like, oh my gosh, I have stairs in my house. Like the infrastructure here is just different. Like I still to this day, like I'll be in my gym, like I don't have a gym in my house, but like, my gym. And I'm like, the infrastructure is just so solid. Like even like and this is just what it is, right? Like in the city of Juarez, right? So like the more like affluent area, like it's still just nothing compared to the United States. And like we have all of these nice shiny things, but also like, do we have love and community? Because like to see the people of Juarez like lean on each other and look out for each other, and to even just be in like the school and be with, my team members or the people I came with on the trip. I think that we're so removed from the human experience. So that's why everyone has anxiety and depression. Right? I don't know. I think it's important to lean on each other, love one another. Like honestly, like my first trip, I was spending a week in North Carolina in a literal mansion. My brother and his wife or his fiance at the time, rented a mansion in North Carolina, and that's where they had their wedding, right? Like, so they stayed there, and then it was a house literally built for hosting weddings. But it was just like, so I spent a week there, and then immediately, I think I went home for like a day, and then headed to Juarez, Mexico. So you're talking like completely two ends of the spectrum, right? Like if my life in Buffalo is here, North Carolina's up here, and Juarez is down here, materialistically wise. And I mean, don't get me wrong, my brother's wedding was amazing and fabulous and stunning. But like, I almost felt more fulfilled in Mexico than I did with all of those things. We went to a church that like we worshiped like in Spanish, like not literally us, but like the same songs like sang in Spanish and English the same. Like it's just cool. Like it's just like, I think we let barriers separate us so much as humans that we forget that we're just human, right? Like just because we can't speak or speak that well to someone, or they live on the other side of the Rio Grande or wherever, we're all just the same. And I think we let too many worldly things divide us of that experience. I don't know. So the intro that you've seen on this video is, you never know where growth and time will take you. Enjoy the moment where you have it. We don't always know where we'll go, where we'll split, or where we'll meet again. But sometimes you just need to know that there's someone that once cared for you and still does, but just from afar or just from a distant memory. Keep doing your best, one foot at a time, through seasons of life. Summer, winter, Buffalo snow or Juarez heat. It's still the same heart, just different ends of the world. So even when a storm comes, just remember, it's better to do it with the ones you love by your side. And sometimes that someone is a stranger. Video is so weird. So I'm not going to this next trip, but it's coming up in like June or July, right? So I've been like thinking about it, and I have friends that are going back, so like I'm excited for them, and I talk to them, and I do reflect on my experience in Mexico like frequently. Something the other day, I just like stumbled across videos, and then I was like hyper focused on like finding all the videos, almost like re-emerging myself back into what it was really like, because it's almost indescribable, right? Like so many people when I came back from my mission trip were like, Lauren, tell me all about it. How was it? And it's hard to describe the physical, the mental, and the spiritual of going on a trip like that. It's something that you almost can't experience unless it's like one another. But after being able to sit with it some time, that's why we have this video, which is still really just skimming the surface of what it really was. I did all of that, and then the next day, like the cartels like head guy like got killed, and so Mexico is like in uproar right now, right? Like I am not the news. Do your own research. It's just a crazy world we live in, and I think a big question that we all left with is like, why was I born where I was born? Why are these my circumstances? I think when you go on a mission trip, especially our experience, is like you feel a lot of guilt. Like you feel like, first off, you're like, wow, I take a lot for granted. And then you're just like, why me? And you're just sitting there. And then like, there's a lot of good, but it's still just like why? And it's a math problem that you cannot solve. It is what it is, right? And I think the best thing that we can do is just make the best of the circumstances that we have and be grateful for it. Like, right, like God gave you this life, right? Like God gave me this life with my heels on and sitting in the tallest building in Buffalo, which to someone somewhere, this would be insane. And then somewhere in some larger city would think this is nothing, right? Like, I think that comparison is the thief of joy. And we have to just make the best of our circumstance and chase your dreams, do what you can, but like, just look out for others, but in the most humble way, right? I'm still trying to figure out this life thing. Give life everything that you got. If God gave you that ability to hit a baseball, you better hit a baseball in the Olympics, babe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where that reference came from, but yeah, so that was a little bit about my trip in Mexico. I will not be going back for now. And yeah, enjoy the B-roll. Love you. More YouTube videos coming soon. This is a brand new channel, so subscribe. I would appreciate it. Like this video, comment, let me know if you have any questions, right? Like, I don't know, but this is, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Bye.